Summer camp. 7 kids. Everything was normal until the sky decided to shatter reality.
And then,
Blizzard in the middle of summer was only
it doesn't end with 7. I
fell
don't
from the
think.
sky weren't snowflakes, but 7
mistaken.
mysterious devices. One plastic history. A world that shouldn't exist. Vibrant and dangerous islands, but they weren't alone. Most of them found a partner, a digital creature that could produce the strangeness of this encounter was brutally interrupted by a colossal monster, a giant insect named Gladius. Her instinct was to run. Unlucky enough, cornered, the children's desperation activated something in their new friends. In a flash of data, the small Digimon burst into their combat forms. Agumon, Pentamon, Biomon, Gabumon, Lomamon, and Palmon fought back, a display of power that saved
Yeah,
their
that's Agumon. That's what he was thinking of.
was a prelude to disaster. The ground beneath their feet cracked and gave way, and the entire group plummeted from a cliff, straight into a wild, unknown river. The first battle was won, but the war for survival had only just begun. It all should have been the end, but the digital world had other plans.
Hold on.
Partner summoned a spirit.
Hold on. Is this AI? Hold up. No, he sounds like he's AI. Hold up. Why do you sound like AI? It's making me feel weird. Why do you sound like AI though? Sorry, it just was throwing me off because I was trying to listen to it, and I'm like, why does it sound robotic? All I need is one person to have said, why does he sound like AI? Okay, maybe it's just me. Everyone seems to be talking to him like he a real person. He don't have a. You hear it?
Schools of fish that acted as a living raft, rescuing everyone from the deadly current. Exhausted, they washed up on a bizarre beach.
I'm sorry.
It's just, there's no feelings. He didn't even watch it. He was being programmed at this time.
Oh, Billiam. His name rang a bell with me. I think I know why. I think I like him.
Digimon, digital monsters. Unfortunately, too many people look at Digimon and dismiss it as a Pokemon clone. And while that's not totally true, it's not.
Okay, sorry. I needed some fucking life. God damn, that shit was like, that hit me like a truck.
But besides starring monsters and having a similar naming convention, Digimon and Pokemon don't share too much in common. Digimon is a sister product to the Tamagotchi, but it was marketed directly towards boys. So instead of Tamagotchi's pure baby essence, the original Digimon had the player raise the Digimon from an egg until it would either die, like all of mine.
I had a Digimon.
Powerful Digimon that you can then battle by connecting to.
I had the other time I got you too, but I had a Digimon. I had an Agumon. I think it all came with Agumon, but I remember mine was an Agumon specifically. And I hated it because I always wanted something else, but it was always fucking Agumon. I think you had to buy these different ones. Like, if you wanted a different one, you had to buy a different one. I think they came as like a Agumon one and like a Wonder Macaw. Yeah, like, each one had a different thing you needed. And I think they only ever sold the Agumon.
It really feels
I never seen the other ones.
Cute and clean monsters that are simply designed because they're adapted much quite art that would fit with. That's also attracted by Digimon that radiate 90s marvel.
Yes.
I sell straps and all. And that's by design. The Digimon music of this period was defined by American comics for having a major surge in Digimon isn't just a T-Rex, it's a T-Rex with a metal water helmet made out of cannons.
They go hard.
It's the face of J.J. Itemix. It's pretty rad. Although I make videos about a lot of nostalgic properties, the ones that really hold close to my heart are Digimon and the Animal Crossing. And for Digimon, it's because behind that overly masculine artillery carrying your story about his their relationships.
It actually has a good story. That's the crazy part too.
After a weird series of weather events across the globe, this snow to the north side. Suddenly, he was given a small little puppet watch-looking.
Yeah, he actually goes through it.
Sweeping them up and transporting them to the digital world. A fantasy world that is also they all meet their own partner. Digimon don't go through character development themselves. Their personalities complement or contrast within their character. There's a high leader of the group. He's goggles. He's athletic. He's easy to make decisions. His partner is awesome. So, but member of the group partner is Leo. There's Matt's PK, his brother. Matt comes off as
Ryan just told us why you just said it.
his partner is PK is the little kid. He's very incredible, but often he's sitting in his protector.
Fuck your feelings. Your parents are dead.
And having to be guided by the other. It's really quite cute. Izzy is the tacky big dorky brain. He's infinitely curious and is always trying to learn more about the digital world without us. His Digimon is Tentomon. May just be my favorite of the original 7 Digimon.
Yeah, I will say I did like him. I've always had a thing. He was cool.
Joe is the oldest star of the group, and although he has some basic first aid knowledge, he's very smart and
What a waste. You should have.
Digimon may just be my favorite of the original 7 Digimon. He's adorable. And finally, we have Mimi. Mimi is initially presented as a shallow valley girl type who just wants to get home, but she eventually steps up. Now, there have been previous watch-throughs where I kind of like she's great. She never grows out of her love for fashion, shopping, or whatever. She's still very useful. I like her because some of those qualities are usually associated with a mean girl type character in order. However, these are just her interests, and they don't feed off her ability. Her Digimon is powerful.
Yeah, it's true. I never thought about that. It's true.
Personalities are so well defined and strong.
She just felt like a girl who liked girly things. I will say that. That's true. She's like, oh, and she had a girly Pokemon, girly Digimon as well. I keep doing that, but my brain just goes to Pokemon immediately.
What a waste.
I feel like you
You
characters into a troublesome situation, and you would know exactly how they try to solve the problem,
Yeah.
how they disagree with each other, and set up the They're characters that present themselves through an archetype of another character we've seen before or so we kind of understand them as face value of their team. But as the series progresses, our idea of that kind of character deepens.
Look at the icing.
The first two episodes of the show are very much on the spot, but it takes time to introduce us to the characters.
There.
Wait.
Yeah.
What a waste. You should
If
have.
you can grab a pink one, I would not be upset about it. Yeah. My favorite color for it to be. I'll take the water too if they're going in the fridge. Because the icy doesn't, sorry for making you carry cold stuff.
There.
Dengue is just punching in my jaw a bunch of times. It would be better if I could actually block anyway.
What a waste.
That's great. For the heat of this December night. It was. I saw frost everywhere. I was like, it's about to snow. Oh, I could have opened it for you. Well, I didn't hear you until I heard you say I had to get the scissors, and then I had to. That's what I said. That's what I said.
True, but like, I didn't have either.
Well, no, I was saying that you said that, and then it took my brain a minute to figure out what you said. And I was like, I could open it for you. But everybody was saying,
Characters enter the world. It begins with a kind of formula. Each episode features a Digimon attacking the group, and one of the kids gets put into danger, so their partner has to temporarily transform into a more powerful level to protect them from either a bad Digimon.
I'm just making sure I know more of the paper stuff.
Here, which makes them more violent. While the Digimon have 6 stages they can reach, they usually remain in their third form, their base form. While the Digimon have different names in different stages, I'll only be referring to them as their base form to avoid confusion, and I'll be referring to the Digimon characters as their English names, because I'm an English speaker. Therefore, most people watching this video speak English, and probably remain to speak English dub. And I know this is a controversial opinion, but I value clear communication over, flexing my Digimon knowledge to this very cool player. So I understand if you want to refer to characters as their original names, but please, if you really hear Chi and Tail and Yom Blank O, those extra syllables really mean that much more to you, please go elsewhere. Or rage comment down below. Algorithms, you know how it is. A few episodes in, it's revealed a Digimon named Devimon controls the Black Gears, and he's planning to defeat the children for some reason. That's pretty evil. Devimon separates all of the kids, and while they're trying to find their way back to one another, we get to see some of the characters interact with each other one-on-one. The pairings are great, and it continues to explore their character. My favorite things in ensemble-based storytelling is when characters you wouldn't expect to interact do. Seeing Izzy and Mimi having to problem solve when one is an impatient airhead and the other is a socially unaware dork is great.
Wow, Larshot can't do everything. He's like, it vibrates.
I wants to head back to where they
Will that help?
wants to find the others, especially TK. Their arguments result in fighting, which causes Matt to break down and explain how he feels responsible for TK's safety, especially because he feels guilty for not being super involved in his life ever since their parents got divorced. Throughout the whole show, we're getting glimpses into the characters' home life, which helps to inform their behavior in the digital world.
Helps,
While the world is fantastical with all sorts of variations of monsters, the emotional core of the characters are grounded in real life domestic struggles.
What the fuck they got going on at home?
Hey, you know what? It had to do a lot. It was in the Digimon universe, okay? You don't know how it is to find a signal in a whole other dimension.
When it comes to editing, Riverside is perfect for beginners. Even if you have zero experience, use their AI.
That bitch is struggling. That's why it's vibrating. It's trying its damnedest.
You can use them to edit like doc or chapter timeline, which makes it way easier just to see it. Ready to share? Well, it's okay if you don't have an audience yet. Everybody starts somewhere.
It took me 45 years to get the fucking main screen to pop up.
Use your AI tools to create automated short clips you can post on YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and TikTok to increase your engagement. Your podcast really is just one click away. Riverside.
Yeah, that shit.
We'll do the
That
rest.
shit, the screen turned on, took a look around, and then turned off. He's like, oh hell no! Oh hell no!
It's too late.
Well, I think for some weird reason in the Digimon lore, the other universe is the electrical current universe.
Oh,
It's
so
like-
they don't have technology back there?
No, it's like the access of technology is like a doorway into that realm. So like so that's like at one season I believe they get sucked into that through like their phones or through like TVs and stuff like that, because it's like the internet, but it's like the internet dimension. That's why there's data, viruses, vaccines, shit like that. It has a whole, like, it's layered. It's pretty layered. Oh my god, stop. It's pretty layered. Just in the background, yeah. In the background, just
First
Oh,
of all,
and-
fantasy I gravitate towards are one with a grounded emotional reality. If the emotional struggles the characters are going through don't have an analog to real life, it's something that's very difficult to identify with. And I truly believe that Digimon finds a great balance.
I do think
I'm
so.
sure many younger viewers gravitate towards.
anything that makes you, like, actually feel while you're watching the show constantly, Digimon did that.
Just can't. This makes
Like,
TK feel
people make
useless.
decisions, you're like, what the, like, stop! Like, oh.
There's even an episode where you think they're finally going to evolve, beginning a transformation sequence into everything.
And then even when you know
This
it
is the
happens,
piece.
yeah,
It's
sometimes
edgy,
it,
even. When the kids finally
Yeah.
get back together, they're told about their destiny by Leomon, a very good-looking, rugged lion man.
Digimon.
What the
They
fuck?
explain they're the
Yeah.
Digidestined, chosen children
The
from
Digidestined,
digital world
yup.
to protect it from evil. The Digivice links the child to their Digimon, giving it the power to Digivolve.
And it's like a
That's
cell
pretty
phone.
neat. They determine the best
And then
way
later
to
on, it does
fulfill
become a
their
cell phone.
destiny and defeat Devimon, and Devimon is like, no. And right when everyone has had a good and embarrassing butt kicking, release. Patamon Digivolves to
Release.
Digimon. I'm sure plenty of people do. Digimon beats Digimon by using all
What you
of its
mean by that?
energy.
What you mean by that?
Digimon don't die, they need to restore themselves.
I remember him saying all that.
Unlike Digimon, die. This show's TK is just as useful, and maybe even more so than the others, despite being just a little guy. And also, despite Digimon now needing to take time to reincarnate me once again. Just as useless. I'm sorry, buddy. The Devimon arc serves to introduce the world and the characters. Until the last episode or two, there really isn't a clear plot or goal other than for the kids to survive. So it leaves a lot of time for character and world exploration, but it doesn't meander to the point of feeling purposeless. We see a lot, including quite the variety of Digimon. From bears, squishy guys, slithery guys, sludgy guys, and rhinos. It's really imaginative and interesting.
Yeah, I don't even remember those Digimon, and so when I played the games and saw them, I'm like, where did these designs come from? I never saw these in the show. I'm like, I guess I didn't really remember the show that much. But I know I watched it. But I only cared about the Digimon, like the team. I never really paid attention to the Digimon they fought, unless it was like the boss Digimon.
And it's not
So
like
I
I really
guess
had
that's just
the
me.
option to watch the whole series. In North America, we got
Don't burn your leg. Yeah,
volumes of
that's not
Digimon
the.
Adventure
He's not the good
VHS,
one.
with the first one being sequential,
Actually, it might be.
two being climaxes to later arcs. The first 3 volumes almost completes the first story arc, but is 4 episodes short. However, there was a pretty rare DVD release in 2002 that had the first 13 episodes. There wasn't a proper home video release or even release until 2000. And even that release, the featured broadcast quality episodes with TV ratings either still present or just blurred out in the corners. The original Japanese version was available on streaming platforms a few years ago, but it was taken down, and Funimation, who apparently owned the rights to it, haven't done anything with it since. Also, update, as of 2019, Digimon has once again been removed from streaming platforms and
Every time. That's because
the only way to watch the original series is to track down the 2012 DVD release, and I'm not even sure if that's in print anymore, Pumpkin.
Yeah. I was.
Pumpkin is wild.
For your words?
I wonder if he put that in the
Digimon
script.
tell the story through 4 distinct arcs, all of which have a clearly defined final boss to defeat.
Yeah.
I used to think this was big negative, but to appreciate this almost video game-like style of story. Later Digimon seasons 4 episodes to get here, there's definitely opportunity for this story to outlive. With the great structure being spent on this 10 to 20 episodes as opposed to all 54 episodes at once, the show never quite loses its pace. It doesn't drag on. And what defeating the villain is always the climax.
Right.
The villain stands in the way of a hero. At least until the show's final. Once you serialized episodes feel distinct and separate from one another. It can feel formulaic at times, but the line back of the characters might some variation to stay entertaining. After defeating Devimon, the kids are sent on a mission across the ocean to collect the bags of credits. They help their Digimon stage, and hopefully get them home. However, when traveling across the continent of Server, the team is pursued by a super powerful Digimon that also happens to be a chimp.
What a waste.
I would agree with that. I hated it. I hated it so much.
The first one was a kind of mindless exploration of the digital world with the most evil-looking villain ever. The second arc gives a clear goal while being hunted down by a super powerful, albeit very silly villain.
Where's my fries and a sandwich?
Hello?
However, the real purpose of the arc is to introduce the Crests, which is one of my favorite character development
hello?
devices ever. The Crests remain a prominent part of the story through pretty much the rest of the series. While the Crests enable the Digimon to digivolve to their 5th stage, it's also tied to a particular value or trait that each kid exemplifies, whether they directly realize it or not. Courage, friendship, sincerity, knowledge, hope, love, and faith, or reliability if you're watching the English dub. While Digimon would digivolve to the champion level if their partner was in danger, the next stage is only reached if they are able to discover or uphold their particular value in a difficult scenario. So while they all find their crests rather easily, activating them is another issue entirely. At one point, Tai tries to force his crest of courage to activate by throwing himself into danger, but this just corrupts it, causing Agumon to transform into a spooky, scary, evil, skeleton, monster mash Digimon who goes on a rampage. You gotta have that rampage scene. However, it activates truly for the first time during a much more intimate moment. Tai briefly convinces himself the digital world is like a video game and has no consequences. However, he learns the danger in the digital world is real and suddenly becomes really fearful when he has to put his life in danger to protect a friend. It's not during a big fight. He just has to cross through a safe point in an electrical fence. But the point is, he's scared to do so. When he builds up the courage to do it, his crest activates and Agumon digivolves using the highest tech animation in the business. Whoa! I love the crests. It's not just reaching a new form and getting more powerful, it's a reflection of how the kids are growing as people. Often when shows have power-ups and transformations, they can seem like a cop-out or an easy way to defeat a powerful villain.
His own package like that.
It really helps to justify what may have been seen as a day.
That zooming was mad crazy. I don't know why you zooming there. He said cop out, not cock out. What the fuck?
And ends up returning home alone. You gotta have that mid-series return home episode. This episode kind of serves as an intermission. It's very odd. No time has passed. It's still the same day from when they left, and nobody is home except for Tai's sister, Kari. This episode always feels off to me, and that's clearly intentional. The colors are subdued. No one seems to be noticing the giant Digimon attacking famous landmarks on TV, and Tai's sister has amazed by the fact she mysteriously knows who Agumon is. Now, a few years ago, this episode's director, Mamoru Hosoda, who was one of Digimon's most influential creative forces, even interviewed with Eric Eye. In this episode, the not about married couple, with Agumon being this younger girl, taking
Okay, that's weird as fuck.
many people took the photo that Kai and Kari had. However, I and others
That's weird.
incest is a controversial opinion. This episode just feels off. It's completely different than the entire season, and I think Hosoda wanted Kari and Kai to have a strange and uncomfortable dynamic to make Kai return to the human world. It's not that too crazy that Kai eventually has to make the hard decision to work hard.
What a waste.
I rewatched this episode randomly outside of full series viewing. It's melancholy, and I feel like this episode's off tone makes it one of the highlights of the entire series. It's just a different flavor, and it explicitly introduces a series-long arc. While the kids need to get home at some point, there's also been a responsibility thrust upon them to protect each other.
I thought they didn't lose any time, so why the fuck do he care?
Home, it's about helping to make the world a better place. When Tai returns to the digital world, everyone is separated and has to find their way back together. Once they do, they are confronted by the mysterious new villain who has been keeping the kids separated while hiding in the shadows, Myotismon. What a spooky
Myotismon.
The kids are able to find out
Damn.
Myotismon wants to get to the human world to find a secret missing 8th Digidestined, and everyone is like,
Vampire boy.
Myotismon is able to escape into the human world before the kids get a chance to follow them, thanks to the help from Gatomon, Myotismon's top henchman. But eventually the kids are able to go through Myotismon's gate and return to the human world.
His top henchman was champion. Like, that's crazy. He's not even. The black one's stronger, actually.
He's not even.
Can you skip this, please? That was a good chance.
his wish. The eighth child, but nobody else realized. They do discover that they were chosen as to be destined is because they all fight the young that was mistaken for their parents. Some of the audience has this to be destined, but no one else does. All the antagonists has the upper hand in the action of the digital world, the digital world, raises mistakes in such a way.
Well, why would you bring that creepy ass relationship into the show? That seems fun. I wouldn't like that.
What a waste.
And of course, that's all while they're trying to find creative ways to hide their Digimon. And now, while many of the parents are just kind of background and side characters, these parents, Joe's brother and Matt and TK's dad, become characters heavily involved in the plot. At this point in the show as well, not all of the kids have had their crest activate. So the activation of their crests happen as a result of their family life or being close to that. Well, of course, there is a bunch of insane action in this arc, or at least the implication of insane action. There are also some nice moments and somber moments that the kids find the best. Well, the kids are searching for who the agency destined to be. My thought is outrageous because it's super strong. It's always something.
No, I don't. I mean, I remember it because I've seen it before, but I don't remember it being that big of a Wizardmon goes hard.
This turned out to be the case.
What a waste. You should have.
Actually, their own character. Now, Gatomon is a villain. However, eventually we learned through Gatomon's best friend for soon, Wizardmon, that Gatomon was not always a villain. Kari was supposed to go to summer camp with everyone else. She was sick, so she couldn't. So while the other partner of Digimon got paired with the kid, Gatomon waited forever and was eventually taken in by Otismon.
He's so happy to be
villains after years of abuse. Otismon figures out Gatomon is the 8th Digimon and uses that to discover that Kari is the 8th child, resulting in a big battle to rescue her. Wizardmon, Gatomon's best friend for no longer, sacrifices himself to protect Kari. The crest is returned, it activates, and
Angel.
Angel what?
yes.
Oh
Angel
my
Wood.
god.
So anyways, Angel Wood defeats Myotismon, but he reforms into a big strong and luckily, Kari and Matt unlock their Digimon's final form, or I guess this isn't even their final form, to defeat the super strong Myotismon. In my opinion, the Myotismon arc is the climax to Digimon Adventure. While not every personal issue is nicely wrapped up at this point, there are confrontations and small glimmers of closure that could potentially come at a later point. One of my favorite moments became that themselves to be a valued strength to their parents who haven't seen each other. He is happy, and although he's not well, there's a kind of confidence in that whole situation that really doesn't understand. Their parents want to get back together, but it's obvious. Confrontation of these issues is relevant for all of the characters. Although Gatomon is just a good character, there is a hope for some user by letting others come into their life to help them. Very personal villain. He's the only Digimon Adventure villain that isn't just bad guy, evil, baby boy. As a kid, I loved the conclusion to the Myotismon.
That's funny.
It really justified liking Digimon.
I do remember
Not
that.
just because
It was a good album.
cool, but to a certain extent, I was cool that one thing that were generally confronted in
Yeah, right.
so much, despite the whole impact. And I guess it's just like a whole I have so much glaringly obvious issue with Digimon, especially now. I like it. I consider the voice of these characters to be defined by the English text. However,
moments of the dub, you can tell someone involved was embarrassed by the movie. In fact, more often than it should, it undermines the emotional tone of scenes. Sometimes they even point out that they they're also
What the fuck? I didn't realize how crazy that is to say. Time staying still here. Like, is it because they're strong? Because I would have thought, oh, they're so strong that time feels like it's standing still. But no, he just said, hey, ain't this scene really ugly? Like, what? That's insane that he caught that. I did not ever catch that.
Like the wrong voices coming from the wrong characters.
Hey, check it out. You can see right through this wall.
And this odd moment where some kid broke
That's
into the
interesting.
music
That's
video
funny.
and sent off the broadcast tape before anyone could notice.
His lips.
Well, so much. There is still no official explanation from this, and people have asked English producers. Like any dub of an English anime, there are also censored changes that are made because of cultural norms. Sometimes swearing is cut out, mild nudity, and references to alcohol are cut too.
all right. It's a bottle of green chili sauce. It's great on tacos.
The dub also uses its own music.
It's great on tacos. Why? Why the accent? Why they couldn't just say it's great on tacos? Why they had to put the fucking flair on it though?
There were also victory songs written.
That made it stand out even more when you do that.
Digimon excels at killing the mood of the scene it's played in.
Right? The music sucks sometimes. Oh my god, bro. Like, what the fuck is that? This man should be getting some badass music on it. It's like, hey, Digimon, hey, Digimon, hey, Digimon. Like, bruh.
It's gifting time.
But
Like, we gave you what you got. Like,
is he dancing or is he about to kill the villain with a super powerful attack? Yo, imagine dying and being able to hear that music. Like, hey, Digimon, hey, Digimon. You're like, what the fuck? I would be so confused to die to, like, is that what you listen to? Is that you or me? Like, why am I playing this shitty ass music before I die? Right, I was like, man, I was doing fine to that. Hey, Digimon, wait, what? And then I got stabbed, and now I'm dying. Like,
no.
Don't take with MAOIs. High blood pressure, manic episodes, serious eye problems, and dizziness can occur. Report all medicines you take to avoid a life-threatening condition. Don't take Auvelity if you...
But nothing is as bad as the Digirat.
I remember that. I do remember that, actually. That shit was
that is some trashy ass. That is bad.
However,
That was
what's
horrible.
lost in return are
There's nothing to say about that.
anime songs ever. Braveheart, the awesome guitar riffing song that plays during evolution sequences in Butterfly, which I can say may be one of the best anime opening songs ever. While there are many questionable changes made in the English dub, the dub was not handled by poorly. To be cut out, there are a lot of mature themes and concepts that are fortunately kept in, including references to the number of W's. And mention of terrorist attacks. But this was before
That makes sense.
kept in. Well, I would definitely recommend newcomers track down the original Japanese version. I do think the English dub is forgivable. That's all the respect to it. Eventually. That's sad. English dub. Of course, the second thing only thing about that today is the production quality of that. That are animated well, and the transformation sequences are phenomenal. To that, but is very simple, with still frames being motion cleaned, attack animations being recycled over and over, and sometimes the same shot repeating. chunks of the episodes, but fortunately they will speed them up, cut out shots, and split screen the evolutions occasionally in order to keep up the pace of action sequences. And occasionally there are whole episodes where characters are just off the model.
Right. I was like, was it just me, or why his eyes so far apart? I thought it was just me.
Wait to see both sides.
I was like, if he don't say something about it, I think I will, because that shit was bothering me. I was like, maybe I'm just seeing something, but that motherfucker looked like he a whole different person. I think he's thinking about something so hard, his eyes separated. That's crazy. He was pondering.
Their relationships are tested, and their roles within the group are tested. From this point, everything has been Digimon. They all met along the way from trying, and the source of reincarnation for Digimon has been put on pause, meaning the stakes are higher than ever. It's a pretty tense arc, and there are some great character moments, but I think the purpose is to give the kids one final test to show how much they've grown. Character development, more development, and more, it's really about the kids just because they have the power to do so. There are some highlights like in the return of Leomon, just to have him die. You gotta have more Leomon.
Yeah, I remember Leomon. Yeah. I was vibing.
What a waste. You should have.
The first time the angel came out of nowhere to save the day, it's like, that's pretty great. He's pretty handsome too. The second time the angel came out of nowhere to save the day was like, that's pretty great. She's pretty handsome too. But the third time the angel comes out of nowhere to save the day,
I don't think I see it.
regardless of how handsome you are. The first two were punctuation for a character arc, and here it's finally the activation of TK's crest, but it seems like it was only withheld to have this cool reveal. However, the Dark Masters aren't the final villain. There's another final villain.
Why are they always gonna be angels?
That's pretty
That's
scary,
crazy.
but they beat him too.
Yeah.
Pretty good. The celebration for their victory is short-lived. The series ends very suddenly, and it comes as a shock to the audience and to the characters. The gate between the worlds are closing, and without much time, they have to say goodbye to their Digimon. It's really sad to see them say goodbye, but it's not a depressing ending. They'll see each other again someday, and we know they're ending their adventure as more complete people than when they started. Digimon Adventure has remained one of my
And then like actually grow up, which is crazy.
It's a story
You see them when you see them later.
surrounding it are not insignificant enough to ignore. But this is a story that succeeds in spite of pretty glaring flaws. That's because the character work is very sincere. Even though it's surrounded by completely concept, crazy monsters, and edgy try-hard 2000s character design, the good qualities are able to shine through in spite of it. I mean, as long as what they're trying to shine through is not the show's biggest flaw, which is the Digimon. The next video is a review of the first Digimon movie. Now, hear me say a number throughout this entire video. That means I am covering one of the movies, and the number is just signifying which movie it is. Number 1, Digimon Adventure, released in 1999. This film was released as a part of a Toei Film Festival, which aimed to preview upcoming Toei projects. It was directed by Mamoru Soda, who would later go on to direct some highly critically acclaimed films, including The Girl Who Slept Through Time and The Boy and the Beast. Although the film serves as a preview for Digimon Adventure, within the series itself, it actually ends up playing a pretty important role in the plot. Also, side note, I am going to be using the English names just because I think it's what my audience will be most familiar with. One day, Kari and her older brother Tai receive a special egg through a computer screen. It hatches the fun and energetic Koromon, who, as the movie progresses, grows into larger form. At one point, Goramon escapes with Kari and Tai has to chase after them. Eventually, a much larger egg comes from the sky and hatches a giant parent Digimon. Goramon grows one last time to defeat it before disappearing. In the Digimon movie, I always loved this segment, but while watching the original version, it's clear a lot of the tone and style is lost. It's mysterious, it's slow building, and when the final battle hits, it's exciting and terrifying. I mean, this shot wasn't in the English dub. I love giant monster films,
cool,
and although Digimon always features giant monsters, it never truly feels kaiju. But
I've never seen the
low
movies.
angles, property destruction, and human perspective really makes it feel like a proper Godzilla film. Even the final fire blast from Greymon feels like Godzilla's atomic breath. I also love how much like small children Kari and Tai are. Although they are kids in the anime, it's definitely an anime protagonist kind of kid. They're small, but they're just as intelligent as a young adult. But here, they're little kids, totally helpless. It's fun and exciting and definitely worth that 20-minute run. Number 2, Children's War Game, or War Game as the posters and most wiki articles call it. This film was also directed by Mark Persona. It has a 40-minute runtime that was released on March 4th, 2000 as a part of the same festival which showcased Digimon Adventure. March 4th is also when the film takes place. What a neat and fun fact with this film. Wow. I truthfully think Our War Game may be the crown jewel of all the Digimon films, and maybe even of Digimon itself.
That reminds me of
not as a standalone work, but as a part of the Digimon Adventure
They have the
series.
same art style.
Taking place over spring break, the year after the kids get back from the digital world.
Yeah, Summer Wars,
a Digimon has invaded the internet and begins tampering with computer systems around the globe. Izzy is the first of the original Digi-Destined to take notice and heads over to Tai's house to warn him of the danger it can impose. After nearly a year, Izzy and Tai are able to get back in contact with the Digimon, but this time over the internet. Unfortunately, for a multitude of reasons, they're unable to get a hold of the other children to help tackle the threat together. Eventually, Matt and TK are contacted, and they try to take down the Digimon before it can detonate a nuclear warhead in Tokyo Bay. Our War Game is tense.
It's also
heartwarming, and it's entertaining as heck. What makes it interesting is the logistical challenge between accessing the internet in the early 2000s and a fight against a strong enemy. If it were just one of these things, it'd be fine, but it's the combination of two which makes it cool. I really like it in action scenes when there's multiple things to worry about. It's not just a fight, but there's something else. Go out, or when Matt and TK can't find a computer connected to the internet, it helps make the action relatable because everyone with an internet connection has run into similar issues when trying to do a much more mundane task.
Right.
Like sending an important email or submitting an assignment. Even the solutions the characters find to these problems feel real, like the satellite cell phone, the voicemail tag, etc. Also, because we feel for the characters already, when War Greymon and Metal Garurumon have their butt kicked, it's pretty hard to take. If this were a standalone film, I don't think that would be the case, but that's the benefit of working with established characters. You can do mostly plot-driven stuff because the audience is already sold on the characters and the world. I mean, Matt is barely in the movie, but we're still sad for him when his Digimon is hurt. When War Greymon and Metal Garurumon combine at the end to form Omnimon, it's awesome, and that final stab to Diaboromon's head is wicked cool. In fact, Hosoda liked this film so much that he ended up taking a lot of the concepts and making it from the ground up without Digimon in a film called Summer Wars. Both Summer Wars and Our War Game are definitely worth a watch.
See, I knew it. Hey.
Discover it's actually
Summer Wars was hard too.
But for boys, Digimon's style was influenced by cool things like Marvel Comics, but I think they took a little too much influence from Rob Liefeld. Look at this dinosaur with pecs. The concept is simple enough. You have digital pets, digital monsters, Digimon. As you raise them, you take care of them, and they transform into bigger creatures. The anime adaptation, Digimon Adventure, which really only existed to promote and sell a one-toy this simple concept and made a heartfelt story. Several kids on summer vacation are transported to the world. While finding some Digimon in HD light, which helps them to change the bond with this. shift we start to notice around the 70 animation recycled from the same episode, some characters are used as tools for the lack of exciting action. As the kids grow up and develop, their Digimon are able to reach stronger forms.
Okay. He said this already.
It's silly, but it also grounds itself within its characters. The original series holds a special place in my heart nostalgically, but for some reason, despite watching it on TV just as much, I can't say the same for Adventure 02, the sequel.
Okay. He was wrapping it up. It was throwing me off. I was like, it felt like he was doing that AI circle talk. And I was like, that was throwing me. I was like, please don't tell me.
As a kid, I remember liking
I fucked around and watched the AI video.
But that's
accidentally.
just because the main Digimon was blue and my favorite color.
Bro, this Digimon went hard, Vmon!
Haven't grown up that much. Adventure 02 has.
I fuck with Vmon so hard.
It's not high quality animation, but there's more of it, just like how there's more characters. They aren't high quality characters, but there's more of them. Adventure 02 takes place 3 years after the original show. It's not Digimon Adventure 2, it's specifically 02, referencing 2002, the best year, the year of blue. If you're watching the news dub, all of the original kids are now in high school except for the others. Let's go talk to the old sideline for the new team. TK, Karmi, Yoshi, Koki, all of them were introduced and reintroduced in the messy first 2 episodes. There's a lot of exposition, yet hardly any time spent introducing the new kids to the world. The new here so the audience can now see reintroduced to anything, but you're the digital world target time because they haven't heard anything explained. Here is different.
Right. See? Yeah.
Just completely useless. The D3s are an important plot point for the primary villain, the Digimon. The first human villain, the Emperor uses a dark Digivice to take control of wild Digimon and watch the original kids Digimon. It amplifies his power without the Digimon dark cell-phone powers called Dark Spires. The new kids get around this through a new transformation, by using power from Digi-Eggs and the new Digivices to equip their Digimon with Digi-Armor to armor Digivolve into armor Digimon. Now that's branding. On a side note, Digimon Adventure brought all of these cool Transformer-style toys where you take one Digimon and transform it into another. Digimon 02 had a similar line, but instead it was just eggs. Which is lame.
Okay.
Let's chat about
I have a soft spot for Transformers, so I mean that is lame, but I probably have bought one.
Eliminates the greater sense of adventure that Adventure had.
Yeah, the first one I definitely would have bought one
They
of.
just go home to their beds at the end of the episode. There's less urgency, and sometimes it's tedious. They go out for a bit, control spires, maybe find a new Digi-Egg, rinse, and repeat. Often it feels more like they're running errands rather than having this great adventure. It's also hard to accept these new kids are automatically invested in what happens to the digital world. They take on the objective to defeat the Emperor immediately. In Adventure, their objective at first was self-serving. They had to get home. It was only later they took on the greater responsibility of protecting the digital world.
But these new people
the show
just
is
getting.
on, it's really strong. We're soon introduced to Ken, the real identity of the Digimon Emperor. In episode 8, Davis plays a soccer game against Ken without knowing he's the Emperor. I love it. Dramatic irony. By the end of the episode, Ken reveals his identity and runs away from home to live in the digital world. Getting rid of Ken's human world storyline makes this side of the story more of a weight onto the plot. This could have been a great opportunity to build dramatic irony and
He said, "I run away."
the team without them knowing he's the Emperor. He
I'm
can find
going
out
home.
information about the team on the advantage. The the dramatic elements that come from the both side of the story are the kids having to hide their Digimon from.
That's like they were like, I'm going to grandpa's house. He let me stay up with the popcorn tonight. Like, you go over there with grandpa. 3 days later. He's still there. They always talking. I can't go to sleep because he always want to wake me up so he can tell me a story. It's like, oh, I thought you liked them. And what about the night popcorn?
The first villain from the original series is always just a horse buff for TK. TK's Digimon died in a battle with him.
You should have.
Turtle J behind him and Mon attacks the magic vampire, but it's another feeling entirely when two kids are punching each other in the face.
When you can't think of anything to say, do you always resort to fighting? I guess.
The scene where TK confronts Ken is so totally different from any other part of the show, but that's why it works. No other villain in Digimon has ever doubted themselves. They're cartoon villains, unable to question their moral alignment. But Ken is human and able to change. And when I say change, I don't just mean the kitty cat turning into a scantily clad angel whose figure now costs $4,000. I mean Ken getting his ass kicked and losing his Digimon opens his eyes to all the dumb shit he's done. We learned Ken hasn't always kicked puppies, but his turn to is began from his grieving after his older brother was hit by a car and died. Digimon has always dealt with these heavier domestic families, but having a character become a villain
his brother died and it made him angry from it, and so he became a villain.
That's what it
was.
Yeah. Ken is eventually brought into the team and becomes a core member.
Yep.
But all that development is thrown out the window when they explain Ken just had an evil spore inside of him, which made him evil. Because why have a complex character with magic?
Okay. I did not remember that. I did not remember that. That's weird.
Dedicated to the Digimon Empire.
They must. Why would you double back on that? It was such a good plot point. That's.
After Adventure wrapped up, two new creative directors were put in charge of the story, replacing the original director who left to protest a sequel being made. Between their disagreements and studio meddling, the show never found a clear direction after the Emperor storyline. New storylines are introduced and dropped. New antagonists come in and distract from developing plots, and plot lines are introduced only to have a quick, anticlimactic ending. We eventually learn that someone has been controlling Ken, then we learn that person was controlled by somebody else, before finally learning that Myotismon, the best-known villain from the first series, was behind it all. Its inclusion feels tacked on, and that's only because it was.
Oh my god,
Between it,
that
there are
feels so lame,
moments
yeah.
where they attempt to recapture the emotional moments from the Emperor storyline and attempts to expand on the lore, but it's ultimately lost amongst the rest of the mess. The show ends with an epilogue, which sees much of the cast pursuing out-of-character careers. It left a bad taste in my mouth. Speaking of bad taste, there are two major storylines which were dropped entirely. The first was hinted at as early on as episode 13. We get a totally strange episode apart from the Emperor storyline where Kari is brought to this weird alternate dimension between both worlds called the Dark Ocean. At the end of the episode, we hear this sinister music as
it's Cthulhu.
Giant silhouette, an evil Cthulhu-esque looking Digimon rises out of the ocean.
Who is this evil, dark, undersea master? Don't miss the upcoming Digimon
Undersea master. That's literally Cthulhu.
With every defeat,
That's Aqua Cthulhu. What?
He says it's Dragomon. Wow.
What?
This is so much cooler than what we ended up getting. Episode 13 also sees the return of the show.
If that's what you think, I think the shadow looks better than whatever the fuck that was.
The second drop storyline is Daemon, who shows up only a few episodes before the series is over and is defeated a few episodes later. Filler within the final 8 episodes. Daemon is defeated when it gets sent to the Dark Ocean. The two drop plot lines resolve each other. Instead of Myotismon, Daemon should have been the final villain and have been revealed to be Devimon fully evolved. Digimon is in Devimon's evolutionary line, and it would have bookended the beginning of Adventure with the end of 02, and had a nice little tie into the original series. There are some nice nods to the original series, which are nice, and the plot of the Digimon film, Our War Game, is important to the new characters. The new kids were chosen to be Digidestined after witnessing the internet battle featured in Our War Game. This also leads to hundreds of Digidestined around the world. My favorite series of episode, post-Emperor, and actually probably the whole series, is the Digimon World Tour. This sees the old kids teaming up with the new kids and traveling across the world. But I think maybe the reason I like this short saga so much is because it takes place over winter, and all the characters are in cute winter clothes.
Mm-hmm.
We see get a chance to see the characters.
I will say winter, sometimes they be fun. Winter
episodes. The
episode.
original team has grown up over the years. The quiet, personal moments of Digimon are where the show shines. However, I like this arc because we got to spend time with the old cast, and that's a problem. The original show had this really simple plot, so character was always the focus. But the convoluted nature of O2 makes it harder for the characters to develop because it's always changing direction. TK is shown to have trauma, but it never manifests itself in anything but anger. TK is the obvious choice for team leader, but because Davis has goggles, he's chosen despite being totally incompetent in a leadership position. He's the least interesting character and a little shit. Kari, like in the original series, unfortunately never has time to grow. The Dragomon and Dark Ocean storyline seemed like it would be dedicated to her, but her relationship to the Dark Ocean never manifests itself in anything other than her grabbing her head and screaming. Yoli? Well, I like Yoli. She's fun. But Cody is the worst. Let me rephrase that. Cody is treated the worst. He's the youngest member of the team. His arc is him coming into his own and being seen as a valuable member. In the original, TK also had to prove himself as the youngest member. But the difference is the reason why they had to do so. TK's brother, Matt, was overprotective of him in Adventure, but everyone in O2, the characters we're supposed to like, are just totally dismissive of Cody. So his arc requires everyone else to be a jerk. Ken is the only character who's fleshed out, and everyone else's development has to do with their relationship to him. In Adventure, the kids were given credit,
that's so crazy.
The trait they best exemplified: courage, friendship, love,
You like the leader.
directly with Digimon.
On Digimon.
Digimon Transforming was really
It's like, bitch, I want Digivolve just because I suck you, dude.
the transformations are tied to the Digimon. So most transformations are earned through finding an object instead of character growth. However, to continue to make the old team completely useless, it's revealed that they gave up their crests to protect the digital world in their absence. This creates a few tiny, massive plot holes, but that's just nitpicking. So let's not really get into that. I mean, I don't mind when they make an exception to the rule. Year round is by DNA Digivolving, which sees two of their Digimon combining into one. This should be tied into a big character moment, but it actually helps create a big character moment. When Ken and the team are still unsure about working together, Ken and Davis's Digimon come together to form Hyildramon. It's only then that they start to consider the possibility of Ken joining the team. Hyildramon should have only been possible after they all forgave Ken. It would have symbolized their coming together.
Right.
Even later, DNA Digimon feel underwhelming and unearned. It's just a result of the other kids deciding it's time to let their Digimon come together. As for the new Digimon, they serve the same purpose as they did in the original series. They're either character complements or character contrasts for the human characters, which works a lot better than having them be their own unique characters. The new Digimon are Armadillomon, of Western Armadillo, Hawkmon, a hawk, and Vemon, whose English voice sounds like Sid from Ice Age.
Something about Kari. Stupid girls make human voice and sort of weird.
Digimon is known for its odd English dub, and the dub is as dumb as ever. The actors do a good job, but moments in between drama and action have bad jokes stuffed inside them. Most of them miss, but some actually had me laughing out loud.
Then how does the story of the birds and the bees go? Like, famous announced on the tunnel. What do you guys want to say? How about strip
I'm like, play out but the sound effects the violence. One thing Digimon has always been good about were references to Japan.
He jumped on that so fast.
The show isn't afraid to call a donut a rice ball.
So I made you some rice balls for your trip.
These donuts are great.
I don't mind the dub so much this time around because the show is a lot more tedious. This plot with a serious tone would just be boring. There are a lot more pop-punk songs featured in the dub, all of which are on the for the Digigraph.
My next one's toys giving glam popstar and genius.
He really loves not listening to that song.
And here's a little side note. On the official DVD release of the English dub, sometimes a TV rating stamp will appear in the corner. I wouldn't be surprised if a clean version of the English dub just didn't exist. There are Blu-rays of the Japanese dub available, all of which have great quality, but it's doubtful that there would ever be a new master of the English dub because Digimon has been relegated to a very niche thing. The new characters just aren't nearly as strong as the original, and they're still splitting screen time with the old cast, who always steal my attention when they're on screen, because that's who I care about. I don't hate the new characters. I enjoy watching them interact with the old cast and, Ken, but the show would have worked a lot better if more focus was put onto them, or if they were just taken out entirely. This show could have worked with the old cast while only introducing Ken as a new character. This is a show based on characters, so when the new characters don't add anything, that's a problem. Digimon Adventure has an ongoing sequel film series called Digimon Adventure Try. And within the first few minutes of the first film, we learned the new characters introduced in 02 have been defeated and are nowhere to be seen. The older kids don't seem to miss them very much, and much of the audience doesn't either. If Digimon Try continues after its 6-movie run, I'd like to see them return, but it's not something I'm disappointed about. Digimon Adventure 02 is such a mixed bag.
Niggas got murdered off. They got off screen. He was like, I bet. That's why. I mean, whatever.
Ideas are forgotten before they have time to develop. Even though its cast as a whole isn't as strong as the original, the more complex ideas are more interesting when the show is willing to explore them. The cool thing about the Digimon anime series is, despite the fact that this really
they should turn them into villains.
Film and video game commercial, the creative team behind it really cares and really tries. Digimon Adventure 02 didn't fail because people didn't care about it. It failed because two creative directors fought for their own creative vision. And at the end of the day, that's really cool. Number 3, Digimon Hurricane Touchdown / Transcendent Evolution, The Golden Descendants.
Okay, what?
Because it's actually 2 titles. This film premiered during the Summer Toei Film Festival, only a few months after our war.
I am the ultimate Digimon. Movie.
And it was later released on DVD. Before I made this video, this was actually the only Digimon movie I've ever seen in its original form. And because of that, it was surprising. It's pretty good. While visiting in America, TK and Kari come across the boy named Willis, who's tracking down an evil Digimon. Mimi, along with the other original Digidestined, are captured. The rest of the Zero Two gang, Data, Skoki, and Cody, get word of this and travel to America to help TK and Kari rescue the original Digidestined. Once there, the gang meet up with Willis and his Digimon Carriermon as they head to Summer Meadow, a spot where Willis, Carriermon, and his twin Pokemon, the original form of the evil Wendigomon, originally met. At some point, Pokemon was struck with a type of virus and turned evil. It meets up with Willis years later, but is unable to recognize him. So he starts kidnapping all of the other characters with the same Digivice and turning them younger in hopes he'll recognize them as Willis. The other kids help Willis track down Wendigomon, who gets progressively more and more removed from its original form, in hopes that they can save the other kids. While these shorts are by no means excellent, they are pretty good. In the Digimon movie, they received the worst treatment, with nearly 30 minutes being cut from the original hour runtime. What resulted were these frantic, nonsensical action pieces cut together with awkwardly paced dialogue scenes. The original piece is the exact opposite. It's slow. It's filled with these little funny, quiet moments, and the action is anything but exciting. In fact, it's a bit depressing. Windygomon is Willis's Digimon, and because it has become a danger to others, Willis has come to the conclusion to kill it. And that storyline is never lost within the tone of the film. What should be exciting action scenes are undermined by this slow, creepy music and the characters getting genuinely stressed when they see their Digimon get hurt. I really feel that this is a hard decision for Willis to come to. When Windygomon is finally defeated, there's not a big triumphant attack, it just ends, almost anticlimactically. I mean, of course, there's a cool new Digivolution and Angela shows up, which isn't related to anything, but I still enjoyed it.
Right.
It's a little bit of a bummer and a low-note, but if you like Digimon, I definitely recommend watching it. It's interesting to see these characters in a cleaner, constructed plot than Zero 2. Zero 2 has such really easy and nitpicky. The characters are more likely to get on the nerves. It's fun next, and if it works. For example, because of the more subdued tone, Davis's frantic personality works a lot better. It balances out. Also, if you look at it, it appears many of these plot points were repeated in Digimon Tri, just with the cast swap. I mean, the original kids go missing, and due to an infection, a new member of the group has to come to the conclusion to kill their Digimon. The only difference here is the Zero 2 kids care about finding the original Digidestin, and in Tri, they quickly forget about it. Huh. I guess the difference between the Zero 2 cast and the original cast are the fact that the Zero 2 cast are actually good human beings. Apparently.
Okay, that's a wild conclusion to come to, but it's a sensible one I agree with. The niggas went missing and they didn't care, but the other niggas went missing and they did everything they could to find me. That makes sense.
A lot of copyrighted music.
Somebody cares and somebody don't. I'm just saying.
So I decided just to remove this segment.
But they were trapped in the Digimon world for years, or whatever, in their time.
I'll post a link in the description or at the end of this video. Number 4.
I could see why they didn't like people after that.
20-minute video, but I wanted to have another go at it because it made it seem a lot worse than it actually is. Since going back and watching a lot of Digimon, I realized I really do appreciate the Digimon movie for what it is. It's silly, it's funny at times, and its soundtrack is truly awesome. It introduced me to a lot of music that I grew to really appreciate as an older teenager. And it definitely is a fun watch for Digimon fans, even if it's a total disaster from outside observers. What I'm saying is, it's fun, and it has the one thing every other Digimon movie is missing. The Digimon. Number 5, The Revenge of Diaboromon. While the first 3.5 Digimon movies never received a proper adaptation, many actually did. In 2001, Disney bought Saban and with it the rights to Digimon's English dub. To promote reruns of the first 4 seasons on Disney's new programming block, Jetix, Disney brought the original English producers on to do a dubbed adaptation of the remaining 4 Digimon movies. The Revenge of Diaboromon. So we like Diaboromon is the Adventure Dragon, maybe non-canon sequel to Digimon Adventure Zero 2, taking place after the show. Diaboromon, the viral Digimon war game is back. This time, it's got a different plan. It's going to escape into the physical level. Instead of trapping some of the Digidestin, but it starts setting itself as tiny, low-data versions of itself with people's cell phones before it finds to come together. Diaboromon is probably at the bottom of my list for Digimon Adventure movies. It's not bad, it's just not that interesting. The idea that Diaboromon setting itself as smaller bits of data is clever, but in a kind of way. Not in, oh that's awesome, kind of way like an R1. The final battle between Omnimon and Armageddonmon in Tokyo Bay and later Imperial Dramon is awesome. The highlight of these films are the higher quality animation, and it really shows in the choreography. Like Omnimon blasting Armageddonmon in its mouth. That will always be cool. And there's little moments too, like the sound of Matt's harmonica and Kari's whistle coming together to be a representation of Omnimon's energy. That really gets back to the heart of Digimon, which is the kids interacting with giant monsters. Omnimon is defeated, and so is Imperial Dramon, but their energy combines to make a new version of Imperial Dramon, Paladin. which finishes the fight. It's cool, and the half-hour runtime makes the film's lack of substance enjoyable. I wish more dumb action movies were 30 minutes. They'd be fun that way. Instead, they're 2.5 hours, and the lack of substance becomes apparent all too quickly. The Digimon movies are cool, because it's an opportunity to see these characters animated well. The action is cool, the expressions are fun, and all around they're just enjoyable. Digimon. Digital monsters. A line of digital pets created to be an extension of Tamagotchi, but marketed towards tiny little boys.
I didn't realize it was supposed to be an extension of Tamagotchi. That's crazy.
The scantily clad angels.
I've been into Tamagotchi my whole life, and I didn't even know it.
High to be this giant multimedia franchise. An anime, video games, card games, comics, toys. No, Digimon did not start because of Pokemon, but Pokemon affected the entire toy industry, and the way Digimon expanded was a direct competition. Pokemon also helped to popularize the pet monster genre, where the first two Digimon anime played into this genre, creating its own unique world. The third series, Digimon Tamers, is a bit of a meta-narrative, taking place in the real world, where Digimon is a popular media franchise. So complete fantasy.
I always watched the TV show. I used to play the card game. I made up my own imaginary Digimon.
Yes, after the response to all of these well-loved, popular, and remembered pet monster franchises. Every kid who grew up watching these kinds of shows wanted their own pet monster, and Digimon Tamers fulfills that fantasy. But it also uses a foundation created by Digimon to challenge the audience's expectations. Digimon Tamers is weird, it's dark, it promotes diversity, and its story and characters are a whole lot better than it has any business being. I revisited the original Digimon series, Digimon Adventure, over and over again over the years.
I don't know. Let's see if I remember this.
So I'm able to look at the series without nostalgia goggles. But it's Digimon, so I need my goggles. Tamers was written by Chiaki, an anime writer who's best known for being dark and weird. Tanaka considers himself to be a Lovecraft fan, so he's killing that late-night Tumblr game. The story being attributed to Digimon Adventure 02 was totally offbeat and creepy.
Chalky cadence.
So that's Tanaka. Tamers is known for its darker tone, but it's never depressing. It's still a hopeful story which uses the dark tones to increase the level of tension within it. Just tastefully tackle dark and weird and used to treat audiences out. It's character, surreal imagery, yet it can be just as
This is one AI building you need to meet. This is dope tech for Blitz.
Oh, that's so crazy how I don't care.
By the end of Adventure 02, there were a total of 24 main characters, but Tamers takes a different approach. Including the Digimon, the core cast is 6. The main goblin
I love this. This was a Guilmon, I think, or something.
Emotions. He's scared when he meets Guilmon, a Digimon.
Yeah, Guilmon.
For the first time. After all, it is a fire-breathing monster.
Hi, Guilmon.
Guilmon is easily created, so unlike every other Digimon in the series, it doesn't have this deep knowledge of the digital world. It's figuring out how other Digimon work, just as Takato is.
Takato.
Takato-mon.
Digimon.
Takato is very anxious, so dealing with the unpredictable, childlike Guilmon creates a great chemistry. Henry, or Lee if you're watching the Japanese dub, is a non-violent, morally driven kid who doesn't even like to make Digimon fight in the video game. So he's a little dweeb. In the best way possible. Terriermon is Henry's partner. It's an excitable little rabbit Digimon who always wants to get into a fight. Henry's a pacifist and Terriermon who turns into Gargamon. Wow. I love how the English dub makes all the gun sound effects, laser sound effects.
That
what a simplistic solution to that problem. But how do you censor something like this?
I never
Well, at least it's not Gundramon.
It's not very smart to mouth off to someone bigger than you.
Moment time. It means no worries. For the rest of your days. Then there's Rika, or Ruki.
This man just, he's small, but he let me box him up.
A really good at the Digimon card game. Because of that, everyone thinks she's cool. As I said, complete fantasy world. Rika is violent and sort of serves as a first antagonist for the series. She's always picking a fight.
Hey! What a lousy fighter. But it fights and fights.
Renamon, Rika's Digimon, is the strongest. So at first, they have less of a friendship.
Renamon goes so hard.
But eventually they admit to caring about one another. Renamon is a fan favorite for reasons which can only be explored with safe search of. You know, they're nasty.
Yeah,
one of
true.
the benefits to
That
having a smaller
is
cast
very
is that
true.
Digimon have their own characters.
Yeah, I just love the design. I don't. It's not a sexual thing for me. I just love the design. That shit goes hard as heck.
Get some side characters.
People doing this will always go.
Silly, lighthearted Digimon holds the power to help other Digimon transform.
They doing it on me, and it's crazy over there.
Renounces his partners. Jerry, a quirky girl Takato has a crush on. Jerry is the only realistic character in this whole show. People like Jerry, but it's because she keeps her love for Digimon a secret, just like me. At age 11, 20. Put your beard on, you're embarrassing yourself.
I'm sorry. Man, you're heavy.
Digimon Gamer's plot is a slow burn. The entire focus of the first third is how Digimon interact with the real world. However, to make this concept fresh, the Digimon now are less like little, ugly people and more like, well, digital monsters. They're animalistic, and their programming to want to fight and human-like emotions are now learned, rather than something Digimon are automatically equipped with. When Guilmon sees a threat, its eyes contract and its instinct kicks in. The kids have to learn with the Digimon, and the Digimon have to adapt. This helps to contrast the dangerous fantasy monsters with the mundane town of Shinjuku, which features real-world locations. Fighting Digimon has never really been a huge problem in the series because they've always been relatively small. But Guilmon is like a buff velociraptor. Takato can't just hide him inside, so a lot of the early episodes are dedicated to finding Guilmon a place to hide, which is complicated by Guilmon's desire to explore and play. Digimon transform...
Yeah, oh wait, yeah.
He's done?
Well, that's what it transforms into, the fox.
Oh, gotcha.
I like this design less, but it's whatever. Yeah. I wish that was the original design, then it digivolve into the other one. That's what I think. I think the fox into the other one is better than this way. But that's just me personally. Because that would have been like, I think this is a cool ass like first form design. I don't think this is a really good second form design. But then the first form design is built like a first form design, so it's also pretty plain. But if you gave that like to the first form, that same love, I feel like it would look better as an evolutionary form than it does as a base form. But I do like it as a base form. It goes hard. You know what I mean, though? Sorry, what were you saying? Oh yeah, definitely. I really hate that they're still they're about to make another form of was it Lucario? Yeah, they're about to have Lucario Y, or you call it Lucario X. I'm like, bruh, you still have Pokemon that don't even have a second form. What is you doing? Even the new game? The new game has new Pokemon, but a lot of people don't even like those designs. I haven't really even seen all the new Pokemon to have an actual opinion on it. But I will say from what I have seen, I thought they was okay. I didn't hate them. Yeah, no, I was like, no, that wasn't that bad. No, not personally. I liked the fact that they still had the gall to try to make animals look like Pokemon instead of just giving Pokemon they already have new forms. They just made new Pokemon entirely. I feel like, especially with the whole evolutionary Darwinism thing, y'all could have used that to give some of these Pokemon that have single forms more evolutions or reasons why they don't have evolutions in certain forms, and then give those forms evolutions. But it just feels like they just doubled down on the Pokemon that people already liked, or they just made brand new ones and left certain ones. Does Zigzagoon have does Zigzagoon or Survivor even have forms? They don't have Ultra forms, they don't have Z forms. I don't think so, yeah. I was gonna say Skarmory, but I'm pretty sure they actually just recently gave Skarmory something. But I don't know. I just saw a third form for Lucario and I got disappointed. And that's the sad thing, because I love Lucario and I love the fact that he got a new design. I'm just like, why do I feel like there's other Pokemon that could have been highlighted here and that should probably not be your flagship for a new evolutionary line? Like, choose somebody else. You ain't got nobody else? You ain't got a ghost Pokemon you want to highlight or something? You don't want to give bug type no love? Goddamn, like. We always do fairy or dark. So they next thing you know, they're trying to invent new types, special types and shit. My refrigerator turns into a Pokemon. No, shut up.
Into stronger, larger versions of themselves. This is called Digivolving. In past shows, Digivolving came quick and easy, happening very soon after the series started. And once it was done, Digimon had no problem turning back into their base form for the sake of convenience. It takes a while for Guilmon to finally Digivolve for the first time, and after it happens, he can't easily go back to normal. The next episode has Guilmon stuck as Growlmon, a giant T-Rex-sized Digimon. What follows is a series of attempts to get Guilmon to transform back to normal and find a place for this giant monster to hide. It's cute, it's funny, but also Takato has anxieties about losing Guilmon. It's a great balance and creates a problem out of something which was previously normal. Between the challenges the kids face just having their partners, they also have to defeat evil Digimon which appear in the real world. Takato and Henry are in the mindset that Digimon are living creatures, but Rico wants Renamon to kill them all and absorb their data to become more powerful. One of the things I don't like about Tamers is how they handle the enemy Digimon. This layer of fog automatically forms, which blocks the outside world from seeing what's going on. In Tamers, so much of the focus is Digimon interacting with the real world. It would be much more interesting for the characters to have to try to hide what's going on while the Digimon are fighting each other. It would also make the worries of the government organization Hypnos much more meaningful if we see the damage Digimon are causing. Digimon is known for its action sequences being interrupted by long transformation scenes, but now there are Digimodifying sequences. The kids use cards from the official Digimon card game to give their Digimon extra.
I remember this. This was so cool, I thought.
Sometimes it's cool and sometimes it's funny watching little old Terriermon with a giant hammer. I like the concept of Digimodifying, but they play it off as if the kids are using a strategy when it really feels like they're just throwing down modifications until something works. If the rules of the game were explained, it'd be more interesting to watch the kids develop the strategy with the cards. It does work to make them more involved, but it doesn't really invite us into their thought process. With Digimodifying, Digivolving as a means of victory is downplayed. For one, it's not always accessible. Usually Calumon has to be present, and eventually a special card has to appear to activate the next stage. When it does happen, the sequences are crazy.
Those are so hard!
There's this whole black and green Matrix vibe to them, which really helps to sell that digital essence.
And now see, that's the third form. That's the third form of the 5.
Yay. You're not ready.
That's what I'm saying. You see, now that goes hard. That's third form material right there.
Tamers tells one story with a beginning, middle, and an end, which is why it feels like such a slow burn. By episode 12 of Digimon Adventure, the first story arc had completed, but Tamers is barely getting started by episode 12. First time viewing, the show may feel like it's dragging, but I watched the first half a second time for this video, and I have to say...
I just don't like how you go from 2 feet to 4 feet, not to 2 feet.
Like it's sort of
So I think you should go 4 feet to 2 feet to 2 feet.
Based on the Chinese Zodiac star attacking Shinjuku.
Or at least 4 feet to 2 feet, so we can know you have the ability to go back to 4 feet. Like just starting 2 feet out of nowhere is crazy.
It sets up a simple, predictable storyline.
It just feels off. Like you should not be doing that. Like I feel like the feet need to be there first to go somewhere and turn the wings or something. Like you just pulling out feet. Like what you? Where you get them ankles from?
It's specifically withholding the pavilion, but if you're part of the Japanese audience, eventually
where you get those figures from?
Oh yeah, hey,
that female looks mighty long.
Familiar face for Digimon fans. A character whose back of the head made a 2-second non-speaking cameo in Adventure 02. And he was the main character in some Japan exclusive games for everyone's favorite console, the Wonder Swan. Good old Rio.
She's a wolf Digimon. I don't know how her anatomy is set up.
Childhood, reading through Kanaka's notes, which I highly recommend to any
Her tendons and ligaments, fuck you mean.
For one of the characters from Adventure. But I guess from a story standpoint, it makes more sense to use Rio as a connection, as we learn Rio is from the Tamers universe. But it doesn't provide that feeling of familiarity it's supposed to for an American audience. And if you've seen any of my videos, you know the way I mispronounce words means I'm very American. So like all of my other reviews, I'm watching in the English.
That's crazy, John. I would.
Sure, it's a different product than the Japanese dub, but it's still.
I wonder how they do that because they could. Is there like people that has always been there?
More respectful to
or was he just brought there so early that he was like a baby when?
And often it's actually Steve Blue of Sexy Voice fame writing the dub. He also plays blonde Spike Spiegel and...
Like, how does that work?
That's right. The same guy who did this.
Well, the kind of woman that can kick my ass.
Also does this.
At least ain't good.
The theme song is still the same from the previous shows, but it's remixed with this grittier electric guitar. I really love the casting in the English dub, except for Susan. One of my biggest pet peeves are the way that English dubs handle little kids. I can't stand it. How dare you? I particularly like David Whittenburg and Henry and Bridget Hopkins. There's a realism to their performances, and perfect. One of my biggest problems with the dub, however, is actually the music. In the first half of the series, they series, it's more fantastical. It does a disservice to Tamer's attempts to establish this as a different. It's all about perspective and change. All of the main characters have different philosophies which drive them, but they grow with time. Every time a new villain is introduced, they're not really a villain. One of the benefits of having a smaller cast is the focus on side character development.
Right.
And Jerry's stories kind of coincide with one another. A big change which is made is a downplay on destiny. The kids in Adventure were chosen to be partnered with their Digimon, but in Tamers, the Digimon and the human have to agree to be partnered. There's more of an effort to make things involved in the play, and this idea of kids and Digimon choosing to work together pays off with the Digimon's final evolution, Biomerging. Takato, Henry, and good old Rio all combine with their Digimon to become super strong. As a kid, I hated this, but as an adult, I love this. I understand what they're going for now. Focusing on the partnership as a two-way relationship makes the relationship more meaningful. These characters weren't chosen for one another, they picked each other. However, that also makes it possible for Digimon to renounce their tamer and makes it even more brutally heartbreaking when one of the Digimon dies. Digimon can't Digivolve because they abandoned his tamers. Two little brat kids. But Digimon needs to deal with the leader of the Digimon.
He can die. It's crazy.
Zukuya.
Maljuice. Crazy.
This isn't a threat. It's Pikachu! Introduced like many of the villains in the Dimension. This is a character we saw develop and get desperate enough to come to this point.
In this game, your heroes will die. A lot. With every defeat, a new hero takes on. A new journey begins, just as deadly for another broken hero. However, the relics those predecessors earned can be kept, and creatures once tamed will still fight alongside you. Each run, your hero goes further and grows stronger, until you finally tread on the right path and conquer it all.
I've heard really cool.
That's great, but can you ask your friend to stop digging into the grave?
No, like I heard it before he got out, so it could have been him getting out.
Yeah, I think. We also see Jerry want to become partners to Leomon. How much the partnership means to her when it finally agrees. That's why it's so effective when Impmon, as Beelzemon, kills Leomon and absorbs its data. Impmon's character arc continues when it later reconnects with its tamers and becomes desperate to earn Jerry's forgiveness, leading up to one of the most emotionally resonant moments in the entire franchise. In an act of desperateness, Beelzemon calls upon Leomon's data and uses the Fist of the Beast King, Leomon's signature attack. Tamer's dark tone really expresses itself within the final third of the series. After Jerry loses Leomon, her body becomes possessed by something called the D-Reaper. We get a nightmare from her and her emotionless body inhabited by this emotionless being just unsettling. The scene that got under my skin specifically was Jerry attacking her little brother. Something about little kids being violent just... The final villain isn't a Digimon. The D-Reaper was a program created to clean up scrap data and AI files which were too large. It was created by the team who created Digimon as a sort of cleaning software. All of the villains are good guys in their own eyes, but the D-Reaper has no philosophy. It's just cleaning up a mess which happens to be, life. The forms it takes, it's so unsettling, and it uses Jerry's voice to communicate, which is also just, it gets under your skin. The ending of Tamers gives no time for celebration. It's sudden and it's more bitter than sweet, but it leaves the audience with a small glimmer of hope that the kids may one day see the Digimon again. Tamers is something truly unique. It creates something that is great and genuinely creative out of a franchise which is really just meant to sell.
This one's good. This one's good.
That's why people love this. It's not a toy commercial. I mean, how do you sell this? It's a sincere and emotionally grounded story. Using the desires of kids to create a
They have games.
With the 15th anniversary Blu-ray of Digimon Tamers, there was a special audio drama CD which featured.
They're different, but yeah, it's different kids sucked into the same world. Yeah, like the one I was watching it's like a book series, and them motherfuckers get murdered. Like they go there with like a scientist guy. He falls off a cliff and dies.
This one originally cleared on July 14th, 2001 at Summer Film Festival, and its English counterpart aired on October 16th, 2005 on Toon Disney. Digimon Tamers is one of the most unique and plot-driven children's anime. It's weirdly dark, very character-oriented, and had a continuous plot which didn't leave a lot of room for film. This description can be said for a lot of anime, which is why I'm ever so baffled at the expanding list of non-canon or canon-ish anime movies. There's a never-ending fan theory community dedicated to figuring out which 2 episodes of an anime a movie can fit between, without affecting the plot too much. That's what Digimon Tamers Battle of Adventurers is, except a movie-exclusive character shows up towards the end of Tamers. So, I don't know. Battle of Adventurers is 51 minutes long, so it's the longest of the films based on an existing anime. Part of the reason it's this long is because there's a lot of moving parts. I also think it's a good time to mention that the auteur of Tamers, Chiaki J. Konaka, had no involvement with this film, as Tamers was still ongoing when it premiered. So, Takao and Henry, 2 of the main characters from Tamers, are spending their summer vacation in Okinawa. Takao wants to hang out with his cousin, but Henry wants to see some nerd stuff. Meanwhile, Rika is in Shinjuku just hanging out. Then, all of a sudden, Omnimon, possibly from Digimon Adventure, is in the digital world. And he needs to stop Mephistomon, who's the reincarnated version of Apocalypmon, also possibly from Digimon Adventure, from destroying humanity. Meanwhile, some girl who lost her dog to drowning is sad about the virtual pet her dad made her to replace her actual dog. Like these virtual pets, Mephistomon unleashes Digimon onto the world, but the virtual pet replacement dog is really a Digimon V-Pet and vaccine made to kill all the other virtual pets, and it does. And now they're all dead, like all of my other V-Pets. Then Mephistomon turns big and they beat him up at the end. Okay, there are so many ideas and things at play here, and a lot of missing parts that end up having to come together. Minami, the girl lost her dog, is treated so horribly. The film is almost mean-spirited towards her. She's sad about her dog, and her virtual dog comes to life, and then the virtual dog dies, and that's her story. Poor girl.
That's fucked up.
If you know TV, you have YouTube TV.
That shit does feel like
Plus live
I might have seen this. That's crazy.
Try it free. Terms apply. Cancel.
DoesTheDogDie.com has about half of their servers dedicated to this one movie. Battle of Adventurers looks really nice. However, the tropical aesthetic, the animation
funny
is
as hell.
there are some really
Does the dog die in this? Yes. Yes, it does. Actually, both of them do. It's crazy.
It's so visceral. This is just a bad Digimon with an evil plan. In Tamers, the kids were so worried about killing Digimon, and here they're just taking them out like they're little flies, murdering them. And this Digimon is so cool looking. It's just basically the torso of Satan and the thighs of Jonathan Joestar. I wish I could play the strengths of Tamers, especially in a
The physique is brain melting.
Whatever you want with the characters and story, like including characters from Adventure. So it is implied this is Omnimon from Digimon Adventure, but my question is, why couldn't you just let the kids from Tamers meet Matt and Ty? That would be fun. It's harmless in this context. Just give us a small little crossover, because what are these movies besides kind of being fan service? I said I believe Revenge of Diaboromon was the perfect bite-sized movie for mindless action. The Battle of Adventurers drags on a lot. It definitely has its moments, and it's truly beautifully done, but I do want it to be more like the material it's based on. So quick question, have you seen these movies or heard of them? Because I know they did air in English on Disney Channel, but I'm not sure if they ever aired more than once. So they may be pretty obscure to an English audience. And if you have seen them, which ones do you like? Because it's also hard for me to find out what the common consensus is for these films. Number 7, Digimon Tamers Runaway Locomon. This one first premiered at the Spring Toei Anime Festival in March 2002. It takes place 6 months after the end of Digimon Tamers, so all of the Digimon have returned to the human world. And they're planning something for Rika, which he seems pretty mad at. All of a sudden, a train misses its stop, and we soon find out it's Locomon, a trained Digimon who's speeding all over the place, all fast-like. Gilmon gets on the train, leaving Gilmon behind, and Rika and Renamon are able to get on as well. The rest of the cast, including the Hypnos agents, are all working together to catch Locomon. Now to find out that Locomon is being controlled by a parasite Digimon who also controls Rika. The parasite makes her remember some pretty sensitive childhood memories. They all find out Locomon is heading to a digital rift, and if they don't stop it in time, it'll unleash chaos onto the world, making evil Digimon come out and attack. The team finally catches up to it and defeats the parasite Digimon. Locomon rides off, and we find out everyone was planning a surprise party for Rika. How nice. Rika sits away from everyone, appreciating what they've done for her, but at a distance. Like Battle of Adventurers, this movie did not have the direct involvement of Konaka, but both the writer and director were heavily involved with Digimon Tamers, so it still feels really connected to the world. Konaka even complimented the work they did on the film. What I like about many of these Digimon movies are the self-containment of them. They're usually well-paced, and it's always a treat to see Digimon animated well. And I say this a lot because it really is awesome to go from this to this. While I did enjoy it, I wish the tension and consequences of Locomon hitting its destination were more dire and urgent. I get that unleashing bad Digimon into the world is bad, but that's a problem the characters could solve and overcome in the event of it happening. Not to compare this to the golden child of Digimon movies, but the consequences of our war game is something that the children couldn't solve if it were to happen. In fact, I kind of want to see Locomon hit its destination because not just would be more giant monster fights, and I do like a lot of giant monster fights. I think a lot of the character interaction along the way in this film is really nice and cute. Like Henry accidentally taking Lopmon, his sister's Digimon, by accident. Gilmon is just this pure baby boy, and watching him try to get to Takato is so great. And seeing Beelzemon for even 2 seconds before getting wrecked is a bit of a treat. However, I think the highlight of this film is Rika's arc. We know in the series that she has a strained relationship with her mother due to the fact that she had Rika at a very young age and is busy working on her career. So Rika was primarily raised by her grandmother. Throughout the series, Rika's father is nowhere to be seen, and her relationship to him is never explored. However, here we get glimpses of their relationship. What I love about Rika as a character is the fact that she's so quiet and reserved, and the way this relationship is explored in the film is also very quiet and reserved. We know Rika has complex feelings about this, but her reaction to having this memory just come back to her in such an extreme way is to quietly reflect on it. It really shows her growth from the angry character at the beginning of Tamers to a more contemplative one now. Her anger being replaced by a more contemplative, yet still emotionally distant character leaves a lot of room for her character to continue.
She's being groomed by her dad.
Makes me want more from the series because I truly believe there's so much more.
That's what they were trying to portray, is that she was being groomed.
She's checked everyone off her list.
Or here.
And it was going on for a while.
The first serialized shows I was exposed to. But it was hard to watch it all. I didn't originally see every episode when it was airing, and there was no
it stopped eventually. She started living with her grandma.
Here and there. It wasn't until after YouTube came around that I was able to completely and legally watch all of Digimon together. I finally got to rewatch all of Adventure and the other Digimon series, which I only caught a few episodes of as a little guy. Tamers and Frontier. A show which just completely turned me off. Part of what makes Digimon Digimon are the partner Digimon, a special digital monster chosen or handpicked for a certain kid. The kid's relationship to the Digimon will often act as a surrogate to show how the kids learn and grow up. The relationship between the kid and their Digimon was something that I really valued in the series. I was so in love with the partner concept that the idea Digimon would get rid of it was genuinely upsetting. In Frontier, the cast didn't partner with Digimon, they turned into Digimon. But this seems to be many people's only complaint about Digimon Frontier. I remember liking Frontier when I rewatched it all those years ago. So it's time to realize something. There have been tons of great stories where the main character doesn't have a Digimon. The Iliad, Citizen Kane, Gossip Girl. Digimon Frontier isn't bad because the kids transformed into Digimon. No, it's bad for completely different reasons.
They've gone off without again. Did you say they have?
It won't show to make you think that he was about to say it's actually really good and y'all hating on it just because you transformed into Digimon. He's like, nah,
I really don't want this to be an angry review. I'm not coming at this from a place of anger or from a desire to rant. I was just bored while watching Frontier. Consider this my catharsis. Frontier takes place in its own universe separate from the other Digimon shows. It begins one evening with every child ever getting a phone call by a mysterious adult telling them they need to pursue their destiny and board a train right before 5 p.m. The kids are all taken to the digital world. While most of the children go home, 5 in particular start hanging out with one another. Their cell phones turn into detectors, which allow them to transfer data from the digital world and channel the power of the legendary warriors, allowing them to turn into Digimon. They eventually learned they were chosen over every other kid after arriving in the digital world to put an end to some ancient...
Right, all the niggas that got on the bus and didn't go home. Y'all were chosen.
Things that don't pay off until the very end of the series. The conflict of the entire show involves this ancient feud between the higher powers of the digital world. But there's a lot of filler, and the world built doesn't seem to reflect what we're told about the lore. We learn about this ancient war between beast-type and human-type Digimon. Eventually, the war ended and 3 celestial Digimon took over to govern the digital world. Cherubimon, a beast-type, along with Ophanimon and Seraphimon, 2 human types. Cherubimon turned evil and raised a beast-type army to usurp the other 2, which it was able to raise due to the belief that beast-type Digimon didn't have enough political power. This backstory is told over and over again, but we never see this conflict between the 2 Digimon types outside of when the backstory is explained. The kids get beast-type and human-type transformation, but that's really all that's mentioned from it. There's also a lot of filler, and filler can be great. A single episode does not have to drive the plot forward. Filler can be good for world development. But when it feels disconnected from everything else, the world seems to be less real. And let me tell you, this world is already not very real.
We'll give you back to your partner in exchange for all women.
So initially, the cast of is made up of 5 Takuya.
Why do 6 kids have all of your women?
I couldn't tell you much about their character. I can't tell you what happened to them and the character view they wanted to recognize, but it all feels so one note. Tommy is a little kid who needs to learn to fend for himself. Okay, he does, like 5 times, and every time he learns this exact same lesson, they frame it like it's the very first time he's ever even thought about it. JP and Zoe had trouble making friends, but now they know the true meaning of friendship. And Koji, well, Koji has attachment issues because his mom died when he was very young. And now he doesn't want to get too close to his stepmom. Oh, but there's a big twist in the middle of the series. It turns out his mom isn't actually dead. His dad just lied to him so he can get his...
What the fuck?
You don't need to play nice with stepmom anymore. She probably knew about the whole thing. Also, turns out Koji has this secret twin brother whose primary conflict is being controlled by an evil Digimon.
Your mom's dead.
Your mom's dead. I'm just picturing the Tyler, the creator, being really like...
I think a lot of the problems I have with these characters
is like, your mom's dead, by the way, this is Mary.
I'm not sure I'll ever understand them.
I feel like with this many filler episodes, there should really be a strong chemistry between these characters. But the filler is always used to explore a set of Digimon.
And then you're going to sleep crying, you just hear...
Every day.
Right, you're like, dang. Are they that sad? They have to play patty cake the whole night. They playing a sad patty cake all night. Yeah. Alright.
The character drama, which is introduced, is either repeated until it's obnoxious or completely
He's
not
like,